இன்று இந்த நியூயார்க் நகரத்திலே இன்று மாபெரும் ஆர்ப்பாட்டத்தை ஏற்பாடு செய்வதற்கு காரணம், இந்த இலங்கையிலே முஸ்லிம்களுடைய ஜனாசாக்களை பலவந்தமாக காட்டு மிராண்டித்தனமாக இன்று எரித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். இதை பற்றி கேட்பதற்கு நாடு இல்லை என்று நினைத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அன்பார்ந்த சகோதரர்களே, இன்று இந்த தமிழ் மொழியிலே பேசக்கூடிய நான், உலகெங்கும் வாழக்கூடிய தமிழ் பேசக்கூடிய மக்கள் விலகிக் கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக வேண்டிய நான் இந்த இடத்திலே சில கருத்துக்களை கூற முன்வந்துள்ளேன். அன்பார்ந்த சகோதரர்களே, இலங்கையிலே முஸ்லிம்களுக்கு படிப்படியாக பல தொல்லைகளையும் துன்பங்களையும் கொடுத்து வருகின்றார்கள். இது இன்றுதான் நேற்று அல்ல, இது காலம் காலமாக இவர்களுடைய இனவாதம் இந்த நாட்டிலே அரங்கேறிக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. அன்பார்ந்த சகோதரர்களே, இன்று இலங்கையிலே முஸ்லிம்களுடைய அடிப்படை உரிமை, மனித உரிமை மீறப்படுகின்றது. இதை தட்டி கேட்பதற்கு யாரும் இல்லை என்று நினைக்கின்றார்கள். இன்று உலக நாடுகள் கோவிட் மரணத்தால் ஏற்படுகின்ற மரணங்களை நல்லடக்கம் செய்யலாம் என்று கூறுகின்ற பொழுது, இன்று இலங்கை அரசாங்கமோ அடம் பிடித்து இன்று முஸ்லிம்களுடைய ஜனாசாக்களை பைபாஸாக எரித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். இதை உலக நாடுகள் சொல்லியும் இதை கூறியும் அவர்கள் விளங்கிக் கொள்ளவில்லை. எனவே இந்த இடத்திலே நியூயார்க் நகரத்திலே இன்று ஐக்கிய நாடு செயலகத்துக்கான இலங்கை தூதரகத்துக்கு முன்னால் இருந்து நாம் எமது பலமான எதிர்ப்பை இலங்கை அரசாங்கத்துக்கு நாம் தெரியப்படுத்த விரும்புகின்றோம். அந்த சகோதரர்களே, இன்று இலங்கையிலே இனவாதம் தலை தூக்கி ஆடுகின்றது. இந்த இனவாதத்தால் இன்று முஸ்லிம்களுடைய உரிமைகளை பறிக்கின்றார்கள். பலவந்தமான முறையிலே இன்று அடிப்படை உரிமை மீறப்படுகின்றது. இன்று குழந்தைகள் கூட பார்க்காமல் அந்த குழந்தைகளுடைய ஜனாசாவை கூட வீர இறக்கம் என்று எரித்தார்கள். அப்பேற்பட்ட கயவர்கள் ஆட்சி செய்யக்கூடிய இந்த நாட்டிலே, அந்த நாட்டிலே நாம் எமது உரிமைகளை தட்டி கேட்பதற்காக இந்த உலக நாடுகளின் கண்களை திறப்பதற்காக வேண்டி நாம் இந்த இடத்திலே ஒன்று கூடியிருக்கின்றோம். அந்த தகவலே இது ஆரம்பம். இதன் முடிவு எங்கு போய் நிற்கும் என்று தெரியாது. இன்றைய ஆரம்பமாக நாம் இதை ஆரம்பித்திருக்கின்றோம். இந்த உலகம் எங்கும் முஸ்லிம்கள் கொதித்தெழுந்து இருக்கின்றார்கள். இது இனம் மத வேதம் இன்றி இங்கு எல்லோரும் ஒன்று சேர்ந்து இந்த ஆர்ப்பாட்டத்தை செய்யக்கூடிய நோக்கமே எமது நாட்டிலே ஜனாசாக்களை நல்லடக்கம் செய்ய வேண்டும். இதை நாம் எமது ஜனாதிபதி, இலங்கை நாட்டின் ஜனாதிபதி கௌரவ கோத்தபாய ராஜபக்ச அவர்களுக்கு நாம் பணிவன்போடு கேட்டுக் கொள்கின்றோம். முஸ்லிம்களுடைய அடிப்படை உரிமைகளுக்கு மதிப்பு கொடுக்க வேண்டும். அவர்களுடைய உரிமைகளை மதித்து அந்த நாட்டிலே வாழக்கூடிய அவர்களும் குடிமகன்தான் என்பதை உணர்ந்து முஸ்லிம்களுடைய இனி வரக்கூடிய ஜனாசாக்கள் கோவிட்-19 பாதிக்கப்பட்டு மரணிக்கக்கூடிய மக்களுடைய ஜனாசாக்களை எரிக்காமல் அவர்களுடைய ஜனாசாவை நல்லடக்கம் செய்ய வேண்டும். கண்ணியமான முறையிலே அவர்களுடைய ஜனாசாக்களை நல்லடக்கம் செய்ய வேண்டும். ஏன் என்று கேட்டால், நாம் பார்த்தோம் ஜனாசாக்களை ஏதோ தானோ என்று ஒரு அசிங்கமான பொருள் என்று போன்று அவர்களை எரித்து தள்ளுகின்றார்கள். இதை உடனடியாக நிறுத்த வேண்டும். இதை நிறுத்துவதற்காக வேண்டித்தான் நாங்கள் இந்த இடத்திலே கூடியிருக்கின்றோம். அன்பார்ந்த சகோதரர்களே, இது எமது ஆரம்ப எதிர்ப்பு. நாம் இன்னும் உலக நாடுகளின் கதவுகளை தட்டுவோம். இந்த ஐக்கிய நாடு செயலகத்தில் இருக்கின்ற அனைத்து நாடுகளுக்கும் நாம் எமது எதிர்ப்பை இந்த இடத்திலே தெரிவித்து இதற்குண்டான மகள்களை கையளித்திருக்கின்றோம். எனவே இதை அடுத்த திருத்தமாக இலங்கை அரசாங்கத்துக்கு சொல்லுகின்றோம். இனி வரக்கூடிய ஜனாசாக்களை எரிக்க வேண்டாம். அவர்களுடைய உரிமையோடு அவர்களை நல்லடக்கம் செய்வதற்கு அதற்குண்டான வழியை வகுத்து கொடுக்குமாறு மிகவும் தாழ்மையோடு கௌரவ ஜனாதிபதி கோத்தபாய ராஜபக்ச அவர்களிடத்திலே பணிவன்போடு வேண்டிக் கொண்டு இந்த இடத்திலிருந்து விடைபெறுகின்றேன். வஸ்ஸலாமு அலைக்கும் வரஹ்மத்துல்லாஹி வபரகாத்துஹு.
Okay, next speaker, there's a young girl who's going to give a speech. Zina. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Guys, clear the road, clear the sidewalk, clear the sidewalk, please, please. Clear the sidewalk.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Peace be upon you all and good afternoon. We are all gathered here despite the threat posed by COVID-19. Of course, following all the guidelines issued by the city and CDC for a cause that is extremely relevant to everyone who looks at our own life as well as others with compassion and dignity. Yes, we are gathered here not to rumble nor to rob, but to empathize with our Muslims and Christian friends and
Sidewalk
families
clear,
in Sri Lanka
sidewalk,
who
sidewalk.
have been denied the opportunity to bid a dignified farewell to their loved ones according to the faith of choice. I was shocked to know that Sri Lanka, surprisingly only Sri Lanka, which is proudly known as land like no other, a land that I consider as my second home, is cremated the victims of COVID-19, even infants against their will. I'm devastated. I'm devastated to hear that a newborn, 20 days old child was cremated because of a myth. Yes, I am shaken by the appealing news because Sri Lanka that I know is different, diverse and rich in culture. It's a land that prides on being blessed by the Lord Buddha, who dedicated his entire life for compassion, mercy, and kindness to all, both to sentimental and insentimental. Although I'm not there, I could feel the magnitude of their pain, their distrust, through the levels of stress, and my parents and my neighbors from Sri Lanka that has been undergoing. This has to stop. This has to be stopped. Your excellent presidency, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, I hope my compassionate calls will reach you sooner than later, that you will compassionately look into the issue and provide an immediate solution to the distress of our Muslim and Christian friends. My dear clergy, guests, and others, let me conclude my short note with a beautiful saying from the Lord Buddha. Radiate boundless love towards the entire world, above and below and across. Underline, without ill will, without enmity. Karaniya Metta Sutta, the discourse of kindness. Zakrai.
Thank you.
Takbir! Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar. Alright, let me call Sister Tiana. She's going to give us a speech for us.
Allahu Akbar!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shihana Mohammed. I'm from Kenya. I am a Sri Lankan passport holder. I'm working for the United Nations. I am here not for United Nations, not for any political party. I am for myself. I'm very emotional because why? There are many reasons why. I am planning to go home after retirement and do something for my country and die there and get buried close to my parents. You know, I never thought of I have to have a fight here for this fight. We had many fights in the past. We were fighting for living in the past. We fought here. We came and protested for anti-Muslim riots when they destroyed our houses, our livelihoods. Now we have to fight for our dying, which was not imaginable. We never thought about it. Anybody can attest to that. So now we are here. It is the extreme kind of fight. We have to fight for our rights in our own motherland. That is the only country we know. So the other reasons here, there are spiritual reasons, religious reasons, scientific reasons. The religious reasons, that is our practice. That is how we have done for hundreds of thousands of years in Sri Lanka. That was not challenged by anyone. We had a harmonious life with our Sri Lankan community, Sinhala, Muslim, Tamil, Catholics, Hindus. We had never had any of this issue. We respected each other's religious practices. We actually participated in some of their religious practices. I grew up in a Sinhala village, Madamahanwara, where I go to the temple with my grandfather. We have a nice happy Palase, Arthasada Hamdurvo. I sometimes borrow their books. That kind of life we had in our childhood, that is gone. Why would that change? What reason is behind that? Is it purely science? Let's talk about science. I am a trained civil engineer. I studied hydrology. I know how the water table works. In Sri Lanka, we know everywhere the map of the water table. We can calculate. We know the distance. We know where the water table is, which depth, and accordingly we can decide if the science says that this COVID death, if they bury, that will affect the water table, and the water is going to go to the drinking water, and it is going to affect the people, and virus is going to transfer. If that is true, still there are solutions, but that is not true. WHO, the World Health Organization, clearly provided guidelines that is not true, and you can provide the last rites to any victim who is dead. With anyway, cremation is your choice. You do it. That's not our choice. So on top of that, if water table is affected, and that is true, the scientifically that is going to affect the drinking water. There are other ways also water table can get affected. What about the hospital wastage? What about the toilet sewerage? If we do something for that, if the science is true, we haven't gone for that. Then why, when Muslim death is the topic, we are talking about this? Science is not proving that. Then let's talk about WHO. WHO is one of the oldest organizations of the United Nations, and in 1948, Sri Lanka became a member, and we followed their guidelines throughout, and that is why our health of our people are better, because we followed their guidelines. Our life expectancy is higher than many neighboring countries and many countries in the world, because we followed their guidelines. Why we cannot follow now? That is another question we have to ask. Then the other thing is, Sri Lanka is with the literacy rate of 96%. That is even beyond the world standards, beyond the neighboring regional standards. We are educated, intelligent people. We produce best educated people to the world. I'm an engineer because of our education system. I studied in Sri Lanka. I did my bachelor's in Sri Lanka. So, then if this bunch of intelligent people are not respecting science, that is another question. I do not think that most of the Sri Lankans are believing that what the government is saying or extreme groups are saying. They believe in science, they know the truth. And I also take this opportunity to thank my people in Sri Lanka, Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, Catholics, Muslims, who are supporting this struggle. Because they are at this moment, they are supporting us. We are only a group of people. Then also, in the past, our protests, we protested when a French group, a group of people did harm to Muslims or any minority, not the government. This time, this government's decision is affecting us. So we need government to change that decision. Government should not give any excuses this time. There is no excuses. So my request to the government, the Excellency, the President of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, I am humbly requesting you to change your decision. Change it, take a speedy decision on this to go, not to have this unnecessary policy, inhumane policy against forced cremation. Please take the pain away. Losing a person, loved one, to COVID is already painful. On top of that, you are having this policy, creating unnecessary pain to us, our people, Muslims in Sri Lanka, and also Catholics in Sri Lanka, the other minorities who do not cremate their loved ones' dead bodies. Please do something as soon as possible. Don't take time. Take out pain. I'm not here to talk about rights, human rights. Everybody knows that is our right. Anybody to have a decent, dignified last right. So this is the only request I'm asking from the government, all the people who have authority to change it. Do it overnight. Don't wait. This should be done. We cannot fight like that for this unnecessary reason, because this effort should be going to build our country. Country needs that energy because COVID is already affected our country as well as the whole world. Now we are like lagging in economically. This effort we should be doing into the country, rebuilding of the country together, not dividing people and creating hatred and instigating through COVID the hatred. Should not use partisan politics or racist approach to address this. Let's do it like one people, one country. We are all together. That's how we were in the past. Let's go back to that. Let's solve this problem. That's only I'm asking from the government and the President of Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Bury the dead. Burn the myth. Bury the net. Burn the myth. Bury the net. Burn the myth.
Bury the dead.
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 Address the distress.
Erase mistrust.
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 Our fight for.
Our rights.
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 Burn the myth.
Not the dead.
Burn the myth.
Bury the dead.
Burn the myth.
Bury the dead.
Burn the myth.
Bury the dead.
Address the distress.
Erase mistrust.
Address the distress.
Erase mistrust.
Address the distress. Address the distress.
We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
Everybody, come on. We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
all louder. We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
all louder. We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
We want
Justice.
We want to hear more. We want
Justice.
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 We want
Justice. Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't
Don't
discriminate.
discriminate.
Don't
Don't
discriminate.
discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate.
That is the right is our basic right. Hello, brother. We have another speaker. In Sinhalese. Brother Arafat. Brother Arafat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ගරු සභාවේ අවසරයි අස්සලාමු අලයිකුම් ආයිබෝවන් වණක්කම් දවස් 20ක කිරිදරු කිරිසප්පයෙකු අතේ තියාගෙන ශ්‍රී ලංකා රජය පත් කළ කමිටුවක් තර්ක කෙරුවා මේ අලුත ඉපොන් ලදරුවාගේ හද කම්පා කරවන පුරුපෝටි මූණ බලාගෙන තර්ක කෙරුවා භූම දාණයද ආදාහණයද බලවනවද පුච්චනවද අවසානයේදී මේ අහිංසක මුස්ලිම් දෙමාපියන්ගේ විලාප මැදියේ සෙල්සියස් අංශක 1200ක දැවැන්ත දිනිජාලාවකින් ඒ කුඩා බිලිඳ උච්චා දැමුවා බලාත්කාරයෙන් හිතක් පපුවක් මොලේ කලඳක් නැතුව කුළුස්සා දැම්මා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ මුළු ලෝකයේ විසිර සිටින මුස්ලිම් ජනතාවගේ සානුකම්පාවේ හා ඉවසීමේ උපරිම සීමාව ඉක්මවීමට පුරුදුන් මේ අමානුෂික තීරණය හෙතරම් පිළිකුල් සාගතද කියා අපි හැමෝම හොඳින් දන්නවා COVID-19 රෝගයෙන් මිය යන මුස්ලිම් ක්‍රිස්තියානි දේහයන් අද ආදාහනය කිරීමටගත් මේ තීරණ ආගමට කොටහැනිව කිසිදු බියක් සැකක් නැතුව අසත්‍ය සෞඛ්‍ය තර්ක මතු කරමින් මේ තීරණය සනාථ කිරීමේ ඛේදනායක ඛේදනීය කර්තව්‍යයෙහි මේ ඊනියා කමිටුව අද නිරත වී සිටිනවා. මේ අතිශය ඛේද වාචකයෙන් අපේ අහිංසක ජනතාව මුදවා ගැනීමටයි අද මේ සාමකාමී විරෝධ රැළිය අද මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ බුද්ධිමත් සිංහල බෞද්ධ ජනතාව හෙලා දකින මේ දරුණු මුරණ්ඩු අනුවන තීරණවලට එරෙහිව කරුණු විදහා දැක්වූ විද්වතුන් භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලා පියතුමන් පූජකතුමන් සහ ආයතන අසීමිතයි. හොංකොං විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ වෛරස් රෝග විද්‍යාඥ මාචාර්ය මලික් පීරිස් මැතිතුමා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ හිටපු ප්‍රධාන වසංගත රෝග විද්‍යාඥ මාචාර්ය යාල් අබේසිංහ මහතා සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ප්‍රධාන වසංගත රෝග විද්‍යාඥ වෛද්‍ය පබා පලිහවඩන මහත්මිය කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ විෂ විද්‍යාඥ ආචාර්ය රවින්ද්‍ර පනන්දු මහතා කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ අධිපති මාචාර්ය වජිර දිසානායක මහතා කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ වෛද්‍ය පීඨයේ ශල්‍ය වෛද්‍ය දේශමාන්‍ය මාචාර්ය ශරීෆ්දීන් මහතා කොළඹ සහ කුතලාවල ආරක්ෂක විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ කතිකාචාර්ය මාචාර්ය රිස්වි ශරීෆ් මහතා WHO ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානය විශාරද විද්‍යාඥයින් මණ්ඩලයක් විසින් භූමදානය හා ආදාහනයට අනුමැතිය නිර්දේශ කර තියෙනවා. ලෝකයේ සියලුම රටවල ඇමරිකාව, කැනඩාව, යුරෝපය, ආසියාවේ රටවල භූමදානය කිසිදු ප්‍රශ්නයකින් තොරව සිදු කරනවා. UN එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානය ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට කළ විශේෂ ආයාචනයක්. මේ එකී නොකී කරුණු මෙසේ තිබියදී සහෝදරවරුනි අතලොස්සකගේ මුරණ්ඩු පදනම් විරහත පදනම් විදහිත අදහස් සහ තීරණ නිසා මුළු මහත් මුස්ලිම් සමාජය අද අසරණ වෙලා කුස්ලිම් භූත වෙලා ධර්මයත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් කර්මයත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න බෑ. අපේ මව්බිම ශ්‍රී ලංකා මාතාව ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමාජයක් හැටියට ආගම් වලින් පෝෂිත රටක් සමාජයක්. නමුත් අද ඒ ගැන කිසිම තැකීමක් නැහැ. ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය හා වටිනාකම් වලට ගරු කරමින් පාලනය කිරීම අතිශය වැදගත් බව මම ඔබට පුලා කිව යුතු නොවේ. ජාතිවාදයෙන් ආරූඪ වූ දේශපාලනඥයන් අතලොස්සක් නිසා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව අභිවෘද්ධිය කරා නොව කඩිනම් හාත්පසින් වෙනත් දිසාවක් කරා ගමන් කරමින් පවතී. එක ජන කොටසක් ඉලක්ක කරමින් කොම් කරමින් ඒ අය තුල කෝපය හා වෛරය වපුරවලා පාලනය කරන කාලයක් දැන් උදා වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේක මුස්ලිම් අයට පමණක් නොවේ, මුළු සුළුතර ජනතාවටම පමණක් නොවේ, මුළු බෞද්ධ ජනතාවටම බලපාන විශාල අර්බුදයක් නොනවරණි මහත්වරුනි. මේ සිංහල බෞද්ධ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ බෞද්ධ ප්‍රතිපත්ති අනුගමනය කරමින් සුළුතර ජනතාවගේ මානව හා ආගමික අයිතිවාසිකම් සපුරාලන පාලනයක් අද අත්‍යවශ්‍ය බව ඕමයක් බුද්ධිමත් ජනතාවගේ ඒකමතික තීරණයයි. ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජනතාවගේ රත්තරන් හදවත්, සුන්දර හදවත් යාකිරීමේ කුළුල් වැඩපිළිවෙලක් පාලනයක් කටිනමින් අවශ්‍ය බව අප සැමට සුදක්සේ පැහැදිලි. ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි, ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ මුල් පුරවැසියා ලෙස ආදර්ශමත්ව මඟ පෙන්වීමටත් ඔබට ඇති අසීමිත බලයෙන් සාධාරණය යුක්තිය ඉටු කිරීමට ඔබට ඉතා පහසුවෙන් හැකි බව අපි දනිමු. ලෝක සම්මතයෙන් මෙහා විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍ය දැනුමෙන් මෙහා නවීන විද්‍යාවෙන් මෙහා කෙරෙන ජාතිවාදී ක්‍රියා උත්සන්න වී ඇත්තේ තම ශෝකය තම ආදරණීය දරුවන්ට දෙමාපියන්ට පළ කිරීමට බැරිව අසරණ වී අන්දුන් කුන්දුන් වී සිටින මුස්ලිම් ජනතාව ලේච්ඡ දේශපාලනඥයන් විසින් මර්දනය කරමින් පවතින නිසයි ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි අමරිකානු එක්සත් ජනපදයේ නිව්යෝර්ක් මහනුවර ශ්‍රී ලංකා තානාපති කාර්යාලයේ ඉදිරිපිට අපි ඔබෙන් සාමකාමීව ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ අපේ ජනතාවගේ කොවිඩ් ආශ්‍රිත මරණ භූමදාන කිරීමට අවසර දෙන ලෙසයි. ඔබේ විධායක බලය භාවිතා කර අපේ දැවෙන ප්‍රශ්නයට කඩිනම් නිශ්චිත ප්‍රතිචාරයක් ලබා දෙන මෙන් අපි ඔබේ ආයාචනය කරමි. මගේ කතාව අවසන් කරමි. ඔබ සැමට ස්තුතියි.
Takbir! 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 We want justice! 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 Stop! 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 We want justice! 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 We want justice. Stop the cremation. Okay, I will tell we want justice. You guys say stop the cremation. Okay, let's do it, inshallah. We want justice. Stop the cremation. 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 Go the other way. Stop the cremation! 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 Listen, I want everyone to participate on this chanting because we want to make sure everybody around us hear it. If one or two voices only come, I don't think we're doing it enough. Please, brother, give your support, inshallah. Let's do everybody together. More voices is more power, inshallah. Okay. We want justice! 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 Stop the cremation!